I'm about to take a ride out to my house. It's under construction, and take a look around. This is the apartment, and there's a little cross. There's a header in the brick wall, I think, that was put up yesterday that I haven't seen yet, and some brickwork that I haven't seen, so I might be surprised by some things. Always am. Saturday morning, 10, a little bit early sun. That should be nice. Morning light out there looks different than the evening light. And my voice is lower in the morning than in the evening. Let's take a ride. Wanted to show some of the houses that I pass on the way to the site. I'm not going to be fitting in to the neighborhood. That's okay. A few more little houses. Mayfair Estates. Weir's Automotive. Haven't been there yet. Love Faithfully Ministries. And of course the Jehovah's Witnesses have a presence. Trailers. School. I love the variety of uses on this stretch of road. It's not just houses. It's not just industrial. Hope Church. Brunswick Fellowship Church. It's not churches on every corner, it's churches right next to each other. There's the high school. Oh yes, lovely. I'm not going to fit into the neighborhood. I don't usually see yield signs at an intersection. My site is actually right there. You can see all the trees at the front. I love that. You can't even tell that anything's been going on there, really. You can tell that I put in a driveway, and you can tell that I put in a porta potty. But beyond that, you might miss the $60,000 of masonry that's going on behind it because of all the trees in the front. I think that's a good thing. There's my neighbor's driveway that we repaired because we broke with a concrete pumping truck. So there's the driveway, porta potty. Barely get a glimpse of some brick columns back there, but mostly still a forest. And lots of bricks still waiting to be used. Mortar mixer. My mason tells me that a lot of my neighbors stop by and look at this and they really like the stone wall. I haven't met really any of them because they only come during the day. This is 6 of the 9 openings that'll be in this wall, and you can see that this one doesn't even go all the way through, and there's one going to be up here, right about there I believe, that will also be not all the way through. The 5 lower ones will have glass windows in them, but there are 2 above those that will have stone behind them. Don't go all the way through. They're basically recesses carved out of the wall. And then above that, there are going to be 2 that just go straight through with no windows in them because they are part of the parapet wall. Beyond, we can see some of those brick columns. that will hold up the porch roof. That wraps around the courtyard. These are tall columns, but they're pretty small compared to God's columns. And this week, this wall really went high. And that's the first header for a window in the great room. See the columns that'll be inside. That wall still has about 5 feet left. Man, these things are tall. I think that's a surprising thing for me as a designer right now with this, is just seeing it all go so far over my head. And I like that. It's going to be lofty. It's going to be much more lofty than I expected. And this isn't even the loftiest part. The loftiest part will be inside the great room. These columns are about 9 feet tall. This brick wall will be about 16 feet tall. So twice as tall as that. But inside there'll be 8-foot ceilings, and then inside those columns it'll jump up to about 14 feet to a glass ceiling. So every ceiling you experience out here, even though it's pretty tall, 9 feet under this porch, and then 8 feet around the great room, it's still an explosion to walk into the center of the great room. Even the windows are tall compared to what I imagined. But there will be a 4-inch brick floor on this concrete, so it'll be sort of like I'm on heels from here. Not that I wear heels. Well, not in the daytime. The main entry door to the great room into the house is right here. Getting bit by mosquitoes. I have shared blood with the wildlife on my site. I guess that's necessary. Mason is really good at columns. They are just right. Perfectly straight. Perfectly lined up. Thinking about how lofty this place is, compared to, how tall the columns are, how tall the great room will be, how tall that stone wall will be. It's opposite most architecture we see today. We try to get as much square footage into it and then put this, horizontal, low, continuous ceiling over everything. Historically it has changed. If you think of the cathedrals, you think of this really narrow plan space, but it goes up for many, many feet. Sort of like a hallway with an extremely high ceiling, a lot of these cathedrals. But you look at the typical, man, I need more birds out here. The typical space or public space today, or if you think of something like a Walmart, then you're looking at this sort of horizontal slab of a space. It's not a vertical space, it's a horizontal space. And that, I think, relates to how we see ourselves on earth related to heaven. The cathedrals are all about heaven, are all about the upward dimension, this thrust towards the sky. And nowadays, in our secular world, secular society, we find all these architectures that are cut off from the sky. Well, I'm glad that this house is opening it back up. It will be lofty, and it'll be snug horizontally. It'll be intimate horizontally, but it'll be lofty vertically.